Hey guys, we're back. Today is going to be a meatless Monday. I'm really excited to share this recipe with you. It's called pasta puttanesca. The recipe comes from Monkey and Me Kitchen Adventures. If you've never experienced them, I highly recommend checking them out. The mother-daughter combo there that authors all their recipes are, bar none, some of the best cooks I've ever had the privilege of following. I have yet to experience any of their recipes that don't just blow me away. They're amazing. They have a ton of fun ingredients. It is a little bit of a laundry list for today, but when you put it all together, even my kids will have seconds. And having a 3-year-old take seconds of a whole food plant-based meal, that's pretty impressive. So without further ado, let me show you how to make the Monkey and Me variation of pasta puttanesca. What we're gonna need today is 1 cup of yellow onions. We're gonna do those in a fine dice. I am stumbling over my words today already. I'm sorry, guys. We are gonna need 2 tablespoons of garlic. We're gonna need 1.5 cups of vegetable broth. We are going to need 1 can of petite diced tomatoes, 1/4 teaspoon of baking soda. You're gonna need 1 tablespoon of tamari. Now, I don't actually have tamari. I have regular soy sauce. I know that means it has gluten in it, but it is what I have. You're gonna need 3 tablespoons of nutritional yeast. Do not get brewer's yeast. Nutritional yeast and brewer's yeast are 2 different things. I have made this mistake and we've thrown whole pots of it away, which was very, very sad because this is an awesome meal. You need 1/4 cup of Kalamata olives. Now, Kalamatas are a little bit different. They're not your standard red, or they're not your standard green or black. They're a reddish, and they're really, really good. You're gonna need 3 tablespoons of capers, which are these little guys. They're a lot of fun. My kids call them olive babies. And then you need 1 can of navy beans. Now you're also gonna need a bunch of herbs and spices, which I'm gonna go over next. So you're gonna need 1 teaspoon of onion powder, 1 teaspoon of garlic powder. I don't know who measures that, but we're supposed to. You need 1 tablespoon of dried minced onions. You need 2 tablespoons of dried parsley, 2 teaspoons of oregano, and then a little bit of sea salt and a pinch of black pepper. And if you'd like to throw some red pepper flakes in there, you can. I will be omitting that because it tends to turn my kids off. The other thing you're gonna need is 12 ounces of gluten-free pasta, but my beautiful children batted their eyes at me and suckered me into getting non-gluten-free wheat pasta that we'll be using for this. It's kind of a trade-off. I have a little bit of gluten, which isn't as healthy, but my kids eat an entire serving or 2, or my oldest will probably eat 4 servings of a whole food plant-based meal, and that just excites the heck out of me. So let's get going. First thing we're gonna do is we're gonna start our water, because obviously we're boiling pasta. So I'm gonna go ahead and get that going. Ooh, hello fire. Bring that up to temp. And I am going to get my pan just starting to warm up. While I am getting this started, I am going to coarsely chop my onions really, really fast because they're frozen, and it's beautiful because Erin cries when she cuts onions. Ooh. I got onion falling all over the place. I'm a mess. Anyone who's ever worked with me in the kitchen can attest to that. I am probably one of the messier cooks you'll run into. My food's really good, but I'm a mess in the kitchen. I do a lot of dishes because I use like everything I have for every meal. I mean, we could be making cereal and I'll have like 6 pots and pans out. You never know what you'll need. All right. Now, there is no oil in this recipe. So you'll see there's no oil at the bottom of my pan. Normally I would use my big enamel one, but this is what I'm using today. It'll be fine. All right, so I've got my onion going. It's just gonna bring it up just nice and slow. While it's coming up to temperature, I am going to add my spices into a separate bowl. Oh, hey, I went too far in my cookbook. There we go. See how I did that? Just cracked it right open. All right, so we got some dried minced onion. 1 big old tablespoon of that. Smells so good. Hope you guys can hear my husband out there using our table saw. He is actually making purple martin houses, which is a kind of a fancy bird house. Okay, 2 tablespoons of parsley. I don't know why people put shakers on caps, and I don't know why I keep putting them back on. Probably have it, but obviously you don't need it. You need 2 teaspoons of oregano. Now, my oregano is actually ground, so it looks a little bit different. It's not the traditional flakes. But whatever, it's in it. I am not using that thing again. Oh, cooking with Erin, you never know what you're gonna get. 1 teaspoon of garlic powder. It's actually 1.5 teaspoons, but that's because we are a garlic loving family. Okay. You're gonna put in 1.5 teaspoons of onion powder. I have little people coming into my kitchen. All right, so there's our dry ingredients. It's kind of fun. Just kind of getting them ready. We'll add those in all at once later on. Okay. So because my onions were frozen, they have that little bit of water, so they tend to not stick very bad, which is kind of nice. I'm gonna turn them up a little bit, and we're gonna get them going. I'm also gonna turn on a light so y'all can see it. Ta-da! Hooray for power. Okay, so my water's coming up to a boil. It's not gonna take very long to make my wheels. I'm gonna get my onions going. Okay, so once my onions come up and they are sauteed, I am going to add my garlic, and then I'm going to add all the rest of the ingredients all at once. So one of the things that I'm gonna do while my onions are coming up to temperature is I am going to measure out 1/3 cup of my capers. Mine are actually a little bit settled at the bottom. And you have to rinse them. So you need 1/3 cup. There's about 1/3 cup, because there's a lot of liquid in there. Ooh, and a lot of onion that I missed. So I am just gonna go ahead and rinse this really quick with my fine mesh screen. Capers have a little bit of a brininess to them. This is just onion that I had in that mixing bowl. I want you guys to see it. There's what capers actually look like. They're like little green, they're actually a blossom, but they look like little green pills. My kids call them olive babies or olive blossoms. So it's really kind of fun what they're gonna do with that. Like I said, I made a few adjustments to the Monkey and Me variation, or Monkey and Me recipe. So this is kind of the Erin version of it. Because I use regular soy sauce, I don't use the tamari, which is a gluten-free, and I'm using traditional pasta. So again, this is not the traditional Whole Foods version of their recipe. You can easily make it there by subbing tamari for the soy sauce, which they recommend, and a gluten-free pasta. I would actually recommend a red lentil pasta or a chickpea pasta. I find those two are the best. And then you'd be extra healthy. Because eating like this is amazing. One of the next things we're gonna need is garlic. So again, normally you would use a minced garlic. I'm fresh out, so I keep flipping it back one extra page and I'm looking at it like, what am I? That ain't right. So we need 2 tablespoons of garlic. Two tablespoons of garlic. Just kind of gonna let it keep sauteing. Nothing fancy, not really changing anything, just kind of stirring it around. This recipe comes together fairly quickly so long as you have everything prepared. The hardest thing to do with this recipe is making sure that you have your pasta on at the right time so that it gets done with that perfect al dente at the same time your sauce gets done, okay? That's like the only challenge to this recipe, and that's really easy. The whole thing comes together in 20 minutes. I hope you guys are all doing well and enjoying these. I'm really loving filming them and talking with you and cooking with you and exploring all kinds of fun food with you guys. This is just exciting stuff for me. This is starting to smell really good. So good, so good. I got you. Boop, 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 boop. I'm sorry, I should not sing. I am not a singer. All right, we're gonna add 1 tablespoon of our soy sauce. If you're gluten-free, use tamari. It's just not what I had on hand. I'm gonna go ahead and add my 1/3 cup of capers. There's those in. Here's my spice mix that we made. We're gonna throw that in. I hope, maybe. We're gonna throw in, ow! We're gonna throw in a can of diced tomatoes. We are gonna throw in a whole can of beans. There's our navy beans that I already had rinsed, or drained and rinsed. Our 1.5 cups of veggie broth. Again, I use my homemade bouillon with mine. Okay, so that moved really fast, guys. I'm not done yet. The next thing we're gonna do is add, oh goodness gracious, who does that? We are gonna add 3 tablespoons of nutritional yeast. That's gonna give it this really cool cheesy flavor. And it's gonna give you some B12 vitamins, which is the only thing you cannot get when you're vegan. That's it. You can get all your amino acids, you can get everything else. In fact, you can get all of your essential amino acids from quinoa, if I'm correct. So yeah, take that. Which is really fun because I'm the only vegan in the house. My oldest child is highly lactose intolerant. In fact, we tried a super hard cheese with her, which is supposed to be lactose free, and she broke out in hives. So that's fun. That's the fun and excitement of Erin's house. Pure bicarbonate of soda, which is baking soda to all you non-chemists out there. It's fun stuff to play with. It's highly basic, which means alkaline or basic, whatever, however you want to word it. About 1/4 teaspoon of this, kind of sprinkle it in. You'll actually start to see it fizz and bubble in there. That's actually reducing the acidity of the tomatoes, which is going to sweeten it without adding sugar. Most of your store-bought marineras are so good because they've added a lot of sugar to them. We're not adding sugar. In fact, none of the recipes from Monkey and Me add sugar. They're all free of oil, refined sugars, and gluten, and meats and dairy products. So everything's whole food and plant-based. Again, please, please, please check them out. They're amazing. So there's our spice mix. There's our sauce. Again, it comes together really fast. You can see it kind of fizzing. That is the baking soda doing its thing. There's my box of non-gluten-free wagon wheel pasta because I love my children. I'm gonna go ahead and throw that over there. The last thing I gotta add is Kalamata olives. I forgot a fork, guys. Kalamata olives are a little bit different than the black or the green. The greens are normally stuffed with that red pimento. Kalamatas are kind of a reddish color. They're a little bit more briny. And to me, that looks like 1/4 cup. It's probably way more than 1/4 cup, but I don't care. We love olives. So when you're cutting, some fun things to remember. If you've got a French blade like I do, which has this curved edge to it, go ahead and keep that curved part on the cutting board. Keep your fingers out of the way and just kind of move your blade up and down and around. And voila, have a nice coarse chop. Go ahead and throw those in here. So we've added our onion, we've added our tomatoes, we've added our spices, baking soda, the beans, which is our source of protein. Normally, again, if you use a gluten-free pasta, you're using a rice, or using a chickpea, or using a red lentil, or even a millet pasta. All of those have their own sources of protein within it. So I've actually cut back on a little of the protein, but it's a trade-off. I've added our capers and our Kalamata olives and our vegetable broth. Got this lovely sauce going on here. Our pasta is coming up to a nice neat boil. I am just gonna take a quick second and go over everything. I think all I gotta add is some black pepper, a little shake of black pepper, maybe a little bit of sea salt. Not a lot, we're not big people for sea salt. We're not just people for salt in general. It's a flavor additive, but it's not a big thing we add because I feel that pretty much the kamatas and the beans and everything have so much of it anyways, you don't need to add any more to the recipe. But that's a personal opinion, and I will respect other people's choices. Okay. There's my wagon wheels going. I added my soy sauce. I added all of that. Holy smokes, did I actually add all of my ingredients before I said anything? I did. I'm so proud of myself. You guys, I am so proud of myself. This is the first time in all of my videos that I actually added all of my ingredients before I said that's it. Who knew I'd finally get it? So excited. I'm getting so much better at this. I'm like growing up. No, I'm not. If you actually know me in real life, you'll know that I refuse to grow up. I am a full believer of you have to grow old. You don't have to grow up. And unfortunately, growing old is a privilege denied to many, so I refuse to grow up if I have to grow old. I'm that mom. So while our pasta sauce comes up to a boil, we just kind of wait for our noodles, make sure everything's ready, and I like to just keep it kind of simmering. Give it a stir, make sure it's not sticking or burning. All you're doing is helping those flavors to meld together. Gonna make our pasta. I know my pasta isn't anywhere near being done. I'm going to go ahead and pull some stuff off of my screen quick. So this is my serving bowl that we're going to be filling tonight with all of this beautifulness when it's time to serve. And then I will call in my ravenous horde for dinner. And then after dinner, I think I might jump out for like a 6-mile run or something because I'm weird like that. So again, this recipe came from monkeyandmekitchenadventures.com. I really don't have anything else to add. You can serve it with like fresh parsley. You can make some vegan Parmesan cheese, which I don't ever do. Throw some more Kamatas on it. You can put some red pepper on it. I will, of course, put the ingredient list for you guys. And I will put the link for the recipe directly to the website as well in the comments. Feel free to subscribe. I love it when you guys do that. That always makes me feel good. So I was a bad kid, guys. I didn't start my pasta early enough because my sauce is completely done and beautiful and my noodles aren't yet. For shame. Here I am cooking for you guys on the wonderful YouTube platform. And my noodles ain't done yet. Live and learn. I should have started them earlier. If you're following along with this recipe, go back in time and start your noodles earlier, okay? My noodles have about 3 minutes left, so we can hang out and talk, I guess. I hope you guys are doing great. I would love to hear actually what comments and thoughts you have about recipes you want to see me make, how you've liked other recipes we've made, any interests you have. Tell me what races you have coming up, because I'm training for a half marathon, so I love to run. I'm not crazy super fast. I just run for the simple joy of it, because it's just me and the pavement, and I really cherish that time. And if you don't like running, that's fine too. I get all the jokes. I'm so excited for this dinner. It looks so good. So yummy, so yummy. I'm gonna pair it with a nice salad. My kids will probably want ranch dressing, but whatever. And I've got like bell pepper and carrots and cucumbers and yeah, all that kind of good stuff to put on it. It's exciting. I'm really not that excited. Sorry. Alright. Is this done yet? Perfect. Alright, dear friends. Our pasta is done. Okay, I'm gonna go drain this really quick, give it a rinse to get all the extra starch off. Whew. Awesome, my baby. Okay. So I gave this a kind of a coarse, quick rinse just to get the extra starch off. You can see I didn't get it all because it was starting to stick together at the bottom. And now we're gonna add this beautiful sauce that we made together on top. Get all of that loveliness in there. Oh, this smells so good. I kind of wish you guys could smell this right through the video because it smells absolutely amazing. Lightly stir. You don't want to like smash all your noodles because they're still hot and the proteins will denature. Which is why you don't stir rice and stuff like that when it's hot. Because then you get mush, unless you want mush. Just kind of lightly kind of fold it around. And there you guys have it. I hope you can see this. This is our pasta puttanesca. It is done, ready to be enjoyed by your family, just as it will be like mine. Thank you all so much for watching. I, again, will put all of my information in the comments of where I got this recipe and the ingredients that we used today. And then I look forward to seeing you again soon. Okay, bye.